Never fear, Cindersh is here, and today I bring to you a new slice of life from Dragon Ball episode. Now, this is the first one where I've actually called it that, but retroactively, this is the second video in the series, as I have included a video I recently did on Chi-Chi and Gohan's view of peacetime and wartime, and how that applies to real life. So if you want to check that one out, that's considered now the first video of that series. I've renamed it to kind of fit that, but I didn't actually call it that within the video itself. So in this episode, I want to talk about the education systems of the world and the focus they have on what kind of jobs you should go find, that you should train yourself to be able to achieve and perform. So the first question you may be asking is, how on earth does Dragon Ball deal with that issue? And you may be a little bit surprised, but I think it does. Of course, again, we've got to go back to Chi-Chi and Gohan. Most of the characters in the Dragon Ball universe that we know are not normal in any regards whatsoever. Yamcha, Krillin, Chaozu, Tien, Goku, they're all fighters. They don't live a normal life. Master Roshi doesn't live a normal life. He lives in the middle of nowhere. He's an old hermit who was a martial artist and was renowned for his skill as a fighter. Bulma, the heir to, or an heir, now that we know of the fact she has a sister, an heir to one of the richest families on Earth, a scientist as smart, if not maybe even smarter than her own father, with the unique skills and talents that are natural. Chi-Chi, the daughter of the Ox King, one of Master Roshi's past pupils, and also a king. Even when you get to Videl and Hercule, by all rights, Hercule is a good martial artist. He's not Z-Fighter material, but, he could probably have competed with someone like Nam or King Champa, someone who's of those skill levels. He could possibly compete with some of them. And, of course, Videl ends up being raised as the daughter of the great Hercule, the great Mr. Satan, living a life of luxury that way. So even Videl and Hercule don't fit the normal person tier. And we get to Chi-Chi, and Chi-Chi wants her children, at least for Gohan's sake, to be able to live in the normal world, to do the things that everyone else is taught to do and raised to do. And so she pushes Gohan to become a scholar, to become a normal person, get a regular job, and that's part of Chi-Chi's character. She decides she wants her family to become more normalized, at least the life that her son Gohan's going to live. So she pushes Gohan to go that direction, which he does. He gets to be a fighter as a kid, but as he grows up, he's more and more leaning towards that direction. And he becomes a scholar, or whatever it is he does. It's not being made clear exactly what his job is, but he has a regular, ordinary job. And he's focused all his time and his energy on living a normal life. Now, don't get me wrong. Don't take this the wrong way. I'm not saying the normal life is a bad thing. That is not what I'm saying. But I'm saying that the lifestyle the world is trying to teach everyone needs to go is flawed. Not everyone can go that direction. We need people to do other types of jobs that are not what the education system is telling people they should go do. The education system does not train people to build houses, does not train people to fix plumbing and fix cars. And we need people who do these other kinds of jobs. We can't just have a 9-to-5 businessman. The world would not really function if those are the only people out there. But that's the kind of job the business world and the education system tries to train most people to be. You know, you get educators, you get a few other things, but most people, they're trying to get you to be that engineer, that scientist, the businessman, one of those things. And not everyone is going to fit into one of those positions. So we have a lot of people unemployed. And yet there's a bunch of jobs that are available. The problem is those jobs don't match the skill sets these people have, because none of them have been trained to perform everyday mechanical skills. So we don't have a lot of people who are trained to go out there and drive heavy machinery, to run a farm, to grow crops, to raise cattle, to be plumbers and things like that. Jobs that some people that get into them only get into them because they couldn't figure out what else to do, and they got stuck doing those jobs. At least in their mind, they got stuck doing them. It wasn't what they wanted to do. And to be honest, the education system is only getting worse at pushing people into a limited set of careers, some of which are dying out or have already died out in some regards, and not teaching people the skills they need to do blue-collar work, or even, maybe not even blue-collar, but the odd job, the jack-of-all-trades type jobs. No one is taught under the ordinary education system to do these things. Now, you can go to trade schools, alternate education schools, and learn these things, but not enough people go that route. And so you say, well, okay, so Chi-Chi and Gohan have done that. That still doesn't really give us anything useful out of Dragon Ball about what I'm talking about. So now let's move into Super. Even the Goku, Son Goku and Friends movie, where Goku does actually finally have a job. And what job does he take? He becomes a radish farmer. Now the question is, why does he take that job? Well, he does actually have those skills. If you go back to very beginning of Dragon Ball, in preparation for the very first tournament, Master Roshi's training system has them do what? First, they start their day off carrying milk to people as fast as possible. Then they go and they're plowing fields with their bare hands. Then they're going and they're doing construction work. Master Roshi teaches his fighters, well, he doesn't necessarily teach, but he has them learn, as part of their training, how to do manual labor. There's no other way around it. He's actually had them learn a few skills, and that they are manual labor skills. There was no way Goku was ever going to be smart enough to be a scientist, a railroad engineer, anything like that. But he could learn manual labor. And he takes that, what he did learn as a child, and he says, you know what? I can take it, I can do this job. Not only can he do that job, but it's a job he can somewhat enjoy doing, and in the process, find ways to have time to train while doing it. He can incorporate this job into his regular lifestyle. Now, he does spend more time working than training, but we get to see those images of him, like when Goten comes to bring him food. At the very beginning, episode 1 of Super, when they got Goku out there on the farm, or whatever that area of ground is being called, that he's using as a farm, Goku also spends a little bit of time while Goten is there, so that Goten can do the work, doing some mental training and mock sparring. And he takes that time, he's able to incorporate into his life this job, which you still can't say he enjoys, but he's able to make it work with his life so he can still live the life he more or less wants to live. Now, in the end, it's not quite enough for Goku, especially when he finds out Vegeta's been able to go off and spend all his time training again. Goku gets disappointed with that, and he wants to be able to do what Vegeta's doing and train all the time. But he was at least content doing things the way he was until he found that information out. And if Vegeta had never gone to go train with Whis, Goku would have been content to spend most of his time living this new lifestyle. So in the background, Dragon Ball has kind of been teaching people it's okay to go find alternate ways of making a living. You don't have to be the normal person. Now, just as with Gohan and Chi-Chi being the example of the way we tend to be in my attitudes towards peace and war, Gohan and Chi-Chi are the representation of normal people in terms of how they view education and the type of jobs you ought to be going after. You do have to get that representation shown. That is what most of the world does. And so if we don't even see a slice of that life in Dragon Ball is not giving a very good representation of the real world. But the fact that we have all these people doing the unordinary, we still get to see the slice of real life, what most people do, through Chi-Chi and Gohan. We can understand, okay, yes, this is what the real world does, and we can see how that plays out for Gohan. He is able to have a successful life. He is happily married. He has a daughter. He's quite content. He just can't do what Goku and Vegeta are able to do because he's not putting the time in to train, which in a way is a fault. It's a serious fault for Gohan because, yes, he has the aptitude, the ability to go do these other jobs, and he did want to do that type of job. You cannot take that away from him. If he hadn't really wanted to do that, he had plenty of examples of not going that traditional route to get a job. But Gohan actually wanted that. Goku could never want that. Goku had to try and find some other way to make a living like Chi-Chi wants and be himself. You know, a lot of us, we try to take on some of these other jobs and they don't match our personality. They aren't really something we enjoy doing or can build our life around doing. I have an idea that a lot of you are younger than me and you haven't had to make a decision already about what type of job you're going to take, what kind of life you want to live. But I'm going to challenge you now to start thinking about what is it about life you enjoy. Do you like getting your hands dirty? Do you like working outdoors? Would you rather sit behind a computer? What is it you enjoy? Figure that out. And then from that, you can figure out what kind of job, what kind of things to do with yourself in your life to pursue. And if you have to get another job doing something you tolerate so that it gives you time to do what you love, that's still following the dream I'm challenging you to. Look at those of us who are YouTubers. I've heard so many of them tell you how they're not making enough money to live off of. I'm just getting started. I definitely don't have the fan base to live off this. It's taken me 4 months to earn $1.25 off of my views. And that's fine. I'm not doing this to make a living off of it. I am doing it because it's something I enjoy. Now, if I can get to where I can make closer to a living off of it, that would be wonderful. I could devote all my time to it. But I do have another job, and again, it is a job I've gone into. For the most part, I enjoy doing what I'm doing, and so that's good. I have drive to actually do my job. But very early in my life, I was convinced I need to go the traditional route of education, and so I figured, you know what? I'm going to go get my math degree. I'm going to become a teacher. And I got into education. I actually taught mathematics for a year and a half in the middle school. And I couldn't cut it as a teacher. I didn't have the authoritative presence to manage a classroom. That wasn't me. And, I spent all this time in school. I've gone back to school, got a master's, and I never really took into consideration what it is I really love doing, what I found the most joy doing. If I had done that, I would have gone a very different direction in my life. I would have been like Android 17, who ends up becoming a forest ranger. I would have done something like that, because I enjoyed being outdoors when I was younger, whether it was playing sports, whether it was out hiking or camping. But then I started doing the college thing. I tried changing, basically I almost tried changing who I was in the core of my nature. And so I stopped spending time doing the things I used to enjoy doing and focused solely on my schoolwork. And I lost a part of myself, and I've been trying to have to get it back. And my other job, I do a lot of speaking. And so this is a natural outflow of that. I'm doing more speaking, but I'm doing it around things I enjoy. Not to say I don't enjoy what I speak about in my other job. I think what I'm trying to do in my other job is extremely important. And it's a type of job where I am, in a sense, trying to help save the world. But I want to make a difference in people's lives. That's why I'm doing a series like this, so I can help make a difference in people's lives. Just because the world is telling you need to go out and get this high education, go to a school you can't afford, get a degree you maybe don't really want to get. The education system is going to push you that way. And for some of us, that's fine. For some of you, that'll be fine. They'll be pushing you toward a degree you will be good at, you will want to take on. But it won't fit all of you. There are going to be lots of you for whom you want to do something else with your life. Something that the main education system, the four-year colleges and universities, are not going to prepare you for. Don't feel you're doing a bad thing if you choose to go get an alternate form of education, where you go to a trade school and learn to become a plumber or whatever. Don't feel bad about trying to go that route. If that's what's going to be best for you, it's what it's going to make you happy, going to give you a job you can feel good about and enjoy doing, and you're not just going to see it as a job, but as an outstretch of who you are as a person, and your whole life can revolve around it, whatever it is that you end up doing. That's the way you need to go. That's what Goku did. That's what pretty much every character in Dragon Ball Z has done. They found out what they enjoyed doing, and they went and they've built their lives around doing that. Now, Chi-Chi is not happy with Goku because of what he's built his life around. But that was Goku's nature. When she married him, she should have known this is what he was going to do, and there was no other way around it. It's her own fault if she's not happy with that. She knew who Goku was as a person and what type of life he wanted to live. She knew that. Anyway, that's been my thoughts for this week, for this episode. I don't know when the next episode of this format will be out, but please keep a track on all my content. I hope you'll find this episode, this series useful, educational, more so than maybe some of my other stuff, which is purely focused on the story of Dragon Ball itself. Thank you for watching if you made it this far. I hope you will like the video, and if you have not done so, you'll subscribe to my channel. And please make sure to check out my other content. And we will be back with new material of some kind in the near future. Just a disclaimer that anytime I use a picture, or if I do use video footage from any of the anime, I do not own the content. The content is, of course, the creation of Akira Toriyama, and the rights either go to Toei Animation, Funimation Entertainment, or Viz Media. So please support them, as it is their content.